wasn't, like I said earlier, it wasn't that bad, because it's like the week of the fight, fighters don't really do much, than to just, kick back, rest, relax, and, just do what you have to do. Thinking about the game, thinking about the fight, and also things, that you have to do. In terms of, you don't do no physical, no intense training or whatever. You just shake out, you go over the game plan of your coaches, and just kind of like take it all in, So, you know, we got there. When I first got there, that same day I had to do the COVID-19 test. And then, I think it took about 10 hours or something. The following day, the results came. I was negative, and yeah, so you just had to like just be in that same wherever you are allocated to be. There was always security escorting you back and forth, whether you have to go to the cafeteria or whether you have to go and do go through the commission to do the necessary paperwork and things like that. You were always escorted and always brought back. There was a van waiting for you, everything. I mean, the setup was great. Up until after the fight, and then we had to leave the hotel.
Yeah, And the fight itself, without the crowd, normally you seem to sort of, get energy from the crowd when you box or when you perform. What was it like in relative silence in the studio?
But like for fighters, sometimes you train your mind and yourself to ignore the crowd, just so that you don't kind of like get sucked into everything that's coming out of outside of the ring, But funny enough, while the fight was going, you could hear some noises in the speakers. Noises were being projected, because I think it may have probably come from the ESPN app. I think they've got something called "Hear Me Cheer" or something.
Okay.
So as the fight is going, you can actually hear like hello your sound going through there, So it was kind of like it was pretty cool. It was cool. It was cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, and it looked like you boxed well. How did you feel in there? It's a while since your last fight. This is your comeback. How did you feel whilst you were boxing? How did you feel about your performance?
I felt excellent. I felt really excellent. I mean, I listened to my coaches, and the plan exactly what they told me. That's exactly what happened. They said he was always going to be open for either a right hook or a right hand over the top. I mean, he was measured, and he was analyzed, and we had Barry put together a game plan, and everything that we worked on. I was able to execute it, in a ring, and through instructions that were given. I felt excellent in there. I felt strong. I felt relaxed. The weight wasn't that bad. I felt great making the weight and everything. So, I mean, I can only say all praise be to God. That's all I can say for a great comeback. And the reception after was massive. I had a lot of positive, things. People had a lot of positive things to say about my return.
Excellent. Yeah, it's interesting you say that you're relaxed, because coming back from 2 losses is not an easy thing to do psychologically, but it sounds like you definitely had the right mindset and took it all in your stride.
I mean, I have to give a lot of credit to my coaches, Barry Hunter especially, and Patrice Harris. They kept me in my zone. They kept me in my zone and everything. I mean, there were times where I seemed to be a little bit nervous, but they give you that sort of familiarity where you just feel comfortable. And so it's I felt great in there. Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, because it's good matchmaking as well. Because Chris Avalos, he's no slouch. He's fought Frampton
Yeah.
here, Santa Cruz. So it's not like you were just ticking over against a journeyman. This was a
Yeah.
real fight you went straight into. Yeah, I wanted to ask your thoughts on sort of going straight in with a decent opponent once again.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Chris has been around for some time. He's been around, when I was coming up. He was one of the hottest prospects, around. He fought Carl Frampton. Like you said, Santa Cruz, Valdez. Most of
Oh
the
yeah, of course. Yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of the top names, and I'll hit him, and I'm thinking to myself, right, this guy's still standing. I was thinking to myself, like, right, this guy's still standing, but this is where, careful, instructions were given, and I had to listen to him. Sometimes I find myself like loading up, and Barry would just tell me to just take my time. I shouldn't rush it. I should just take my time and just, let everything flow of the jabs, and everything everything just went to plan. The timing was perfect.
Excellent, excellent. And yeah, could I also ask about, well, linking up with Barry Hunter as your new trainer, sort of why you chose him, and also what the training camp with him has been like.
Initially I was actually just passing through,
All
you know,
right.
at their gym, yeah, and then after I think I was supposed to spend just 2 weeks, with them, and then just continue and then move on. And after the 2 weeks, because I phoned my father and said to him, that I like it here, so I felt I'm gonna stay. So yeah, it was just that's just how we kind of like kick things off, and then we made things official, and yeah, just took it from there. Yeah, I mean, they saw how much improvement I was making, and they had a plan for me, and I was able. I mean, they were able to just get me out of my shell, and but training camp was great. The people here are great. They've got some really really talented fighters down here, and it's competitive. It's one of those like a band of brothers, that everyone pushes each other. And I mean, that's one thing that I really enjoyed about I really enjoy about the gym, because everyone pushes you, and that's what a fighter needs. You have a great coach, and then you have great teammates, everyone willing to support you and just push you to be the best. And yeah, I just love it.
That's excellent. That's excellent. So were you, though, did you come there like as a sort of trial while you were looking for new coaches, or were you just there for like sparring? What sort of took you there in the first place?
I was just, my father had had messaged Patrice, Patrice Harris. He's the one that does all the you know the fancy pad work.
Right.
Those combination, a lot of combination pad works and stuff like that. So he was like, I'd like my son to come and work with you guys for some time, and then for 2 weeks before he officially goes to training camp, and then so that was our first point of interaction. And then I got down here, and then boom, everything, yeah, things just changed, and I just decided to stay.
Excellent. Excellent. How different is it in camp with Barry Hunter compared to kind of your previous training camps? Like, what are the kind of things that you're learning as well, and are there things you needed to get used to as well?
I mean, right now it's like most importantly, I think the first step of everything was um being mentally stable or mentally comfortable.
Hmm.
You know, that was like the first and most important thing. Coming off two consecutive losses and, you know, dealing with some personal things, you know, so it was more or less like getting that aspect right before everything else flowing off. And you know, I mean, he's an experienced man. He's not my age. You know, he's a man. He's a man of a lot of wisdom. So he had to he just knows how. He just knew exactly what he was dealing with. And
Yeah.
yeah, he just kind of like, yeah, he just took it from there.
Excellent, excellent. And yeah, it must. Well, it sounds like you've already built a relationship with him, but that must have been unusual, given obviously you have a close relationship with your father, so not having him in your corner must have been a bit of a change as well, just a new thing to adjust to.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that difficult because I've been doing this for some time now. You know, you have to be able to you have to be open to change.
Yeah,
You know, at some point in your life, and I'm not growing younger. I'm always growing. You know, my mind is always open, and I'm also learning as I'm going along the way. So you know, I'm becoming mature and more mature by the day. So it wasn't really a difficult thing. It was just a matter of finding finding my feet, standing on my own 2 feet, and making, you know, taking certain decisions.
yeah, yeah. I see. I also wanted to ask about those fights with Navarrete. Like those were tough fights. How did you feel after them, especially the second one? Just how tough was it to sort of come to terms with the loss, and how did those defeats affect you?
I think the most important thing was being truthful to myself. You know, first and foremost, I had to be truthful to myself. Not be in self denial or anything. But I had to be truthful to myself. I had to accept the fact that I lost. You know, the man beat me. You know, he has my full respect. Um, you know, and I had to accept everything that was flooding it. You know, I had to accept everything, and that was the only way I could just kind of like really let everything flood in and then flush it all out. You know, and it was just a gradual process, and like I said, God has been with me every step of the way. You know, we've had some sleepless nights. We've had, you know, so many things, but hey, that's not important. That's in the past. You know, right now the focus is on the future, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Excellent. Do you feel like you've learned from those losses as well? Like, do you think in the long run, are you going to be a better fighter for them?
Definitely, definitely. I mean, you saw you've seen my comeback fight. You know, the only thing that we're doing, we just have to keep on improving. You know, take one each fight as it comes, and just keep on improving and improving and improving. The aim is, you know, we're aiming high. We're aiming high, and but we're just taking, you know, one step at a time, one day at a time.
Yeah, yeah. Well, my next question was going to be, what's next? Like, do you have an idea of when
What
you'll be fighting next?
what's next? From what I've heard, you know, I think, God willing, sometime in September.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
God
not
willing,
too long.
sometime in September. Yeah.
Yeah. And what's the goal? Two-time world champion, two-weight world champion.
God willing. You know, that's what. Look, I know that there's there are lots of great things coming my way. You know, and right now I'm just taking it all in, just bracing myself for when that time, when that time comes. I know that we'll be world champions again. You know,
Yeah.
and you know, I have no doubt about that. I know God is going to open many, many doors, and it's going to make, you know, a lot of great things happen. People. I mean, it's just it's been activated. I should put it that way. You know, it's been activated.